Hey guys, so I just read the final ever in this series issue of Batman Beyond, and I have a lot of mixed thoughts. Plus sides. The artwork was fantastic. I think the character work was mostly really good. Okay, I'm starting to run out of plus sides. I really wanted to love this book, but the problem is, it's the final issue and it resolves almost none of the major plot threads that have been going on since the book's inception. For example, in the previous volume of Batman Beyond, as most people, I imagine, who read this will have come into this Batman Beyond series from that Batman Beyond series because it was a direct continuation. And in that Batman Beyond series, the main character, which was also written by the same writer, Dan Jurgens, and Bernard Chang did a lot of work on the art for both series. So it was the same creators behind the Volume 5 and Volume 6, and we're in Volume 6 now. This is the final issue of Volume 6. Problem is, that series starred Tim Drake, who had taken over as Batman after the apparent death of Terry McGinnis, and then there was this whole stuff with the Evil Factory and Terry McGinnis having been brainwashed by Spellbinder into believing he was a villain named Rewire, and eventually him, Tim sort of helping him regain his memories and take back up the mantle of Batman. But at the end of that, and at the start of, it was either the very final issue of Volume 5, or it was the Rebirth issue that set this series off. So one of the key events that set this volume in motion is that Tim Drake drives off from the city initially it seems to have his own adventures, but then he gets taken away by a mysterious portal. We get this light in front of him and he's pulled away from our reality. And so we have been waiting 50 issues to find out what happened to Tim Drake, what this mysterious portal was, who took him, what they wanted to do with him. And we do not get an answer. The series ends with no resolution to one of the big, if anything, to the big mystery that we, the readers, have been pondering about for the past 50 issues. Who took Tim Drake? Now, I had always assumed that this had something to do with the Evil Factory, who were major recurring villains before the Rebirth issue. They'd been behind everything going on with the Splicers, everything going on with Spellbinder, but pretty much everything going on in the previous volume that wasn't to do with Brother Eye. The Evil Factory had been responsible for, and the Evil Factory were the ones responsible for brainwashing Terry McGinnis. And we know that their leader was briefly set up, was Tufton, who was a giant talking two-legged tiger, which is a interesting villain choice. But Tufton has not appeared once since his conversation with Abel Cuvier back in the Splicers arc of Volume 5. So we have the leader of this whole group who had a deal with Brother Eye and who were doing all these messed up things to Gotham and to its people. And they haven't appeared in this volume, and I think it was natural, I assumed that we were waiting to see what they'd been doing in the shadows, but there's no resolution. We get to issue 50, and the Evil Factory haven't appeared. and they haven't been stopped. This group of supervillains who are trying to force humanity to adapt to the next level, they're still out there, still running amok, and we don't know what happened to our hero for the first, quarter of the story. Our main character is missing, and there's no resolution for what happened to him. Now, I love Terry McGinnis, with the exception of some of the stuff they did in this volume where they had him cheat on his girlfriend, which I do not love, which led to him and Dana breaking up, which I also do not love, because I've very much been a fan of Dana Tan. But, yeah, I felt it was very frustrating as a fan and as a long-time reader to have things set up like 5 years ago and then never resolve the things that you set up. And there's also things that don't really make any sense in here. Like, the main, I put villain in quotation marks here, of this issue is Ink. And you're probably thinking, how the heck is Ink still alive? Didn't she explode when she sacrificed her life to help take down Brother Eye in Volume 5? And the answer to that would be yes, she did die in Volume 5. So the answer to how she is still alive is... who knows? They didn't explain it! They just put her in here! And it's the same writer who killed her off, who didn't even explain how she was still alive. Oh gosh. And she went through such a redemption arc in Volume 5 that it just seems so hard to believe and so out of character that she would be, like, I get that she's desperate to live, but that she would disguise herself as Batman and stab the police officer to get this containment sphere that she needs to try to keep her form. And even that makes me question, like, why did she need to disguise herself as Batman? She could have just, like, gone in through the ventilation in liquid form and picked it up. Like, why did she need to be Batman? Oh, gosh. I get that she was desperate, but nothing she did in this story made sense. Matt McGinnis would have known that she was on the side of good now. And she believes that Bruce Wayne would not have let her live. To which the only thing I can really think to, like, answer that is why? Like, Bruce is not the kind of guy who regularly lets his enemies die. Oh, gosh, like, he often, like, goes to extreme lengths to rescue his enemies. And that's why you never see him kill his villains. It's, like, because he always wants to try and rehabilitate everyone. It seems insane to me that she would believe that Bruce wouldn't want to save her, especially when, at the end of the issue, Bruce talks about how he's going to try to save her. So, like, realistically, especially when, like, Matt McGinnis knows she is on the side of good now. So Matt McGinnis could easily have told anyone, oh no, wait, she's good. Like, just something like that. Like, she helped Tim and I defeat Brother Eye and save the entire world. We should totally save her. Like, nothing about this works. On the plus side, though, I am hopeful about the fact that at the end they seem to be setting up a Justice League Beyond book. I do hope that happens. And if that does happen, then maybe we will finally get resolutions to some of the story arcs that haven't been resolved yet. Maybe we will finally find out what happened to Tim Drake. And maybe we will finally see the Evil Factory get defeated. But from what I can gather, even though it says definitely not the end, to my knowledge, there hasn't been any, word that a Justice League Beyond book has yet been greenlit. And also, a Justice League Beyond book might not necessarily, it might extensively have a new readership that haven't read Batman Beyond and won't be familiar with the unresolved plot threads. So, I don't think this was a particularly good final issue. The only way I can come up with to explain why this issue is the way that it is that maybe the book wasn't selling very well and got cancelled, so Dan Jurgens had to sort of wrap everything up quickly. But then you'd have thought that they'd have at least had a 100-page special issue and tried to go into the story arcs that weren't resolved. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Obviously, this was just a completely unscripted, random rant about a comic book, but I wanted to love it. I've loved this book until now, and I've been reading this book for 6 years, since the 2015 run. So I'm sorry to say that I was really disappointed with this comic. But hopefully we will get that Justice League Beyond book, and hopefully it will be really good, and hopefully we'll see resolutions in that.